Hi, welcome to my new podcast. My name is Analiza Ortojan from year 701. This podcast is intended to final exam in subject Humanities, Philippine and Indigenous Arts. Who are the Cordilleras? Cordilleras are a Igorot meaning mountain people, live in the mountain region of northern Luzon, where Cordilleras rises abruptly from the sea in the boundary of Cagayan and Ilocos Norte. The Cordilleras administrative region is divided into the provinces of Abra, Ifugao, Benguet, Kalinga, Apayao, and Mountain Province. Baguio is peopled by the Benguet Igorots. Northeast of Benguet is the home of the Ifugaos. In the extreme north is Apayao, south of which is Kalinga, and the central part in the territory of the Bontoc Igorot. Ritualistic art. Number 1. Bulol wooden figure depicting the human figure in standing or sitting position. It was an Anito figure. It represents ancestors, spirit or guardians of the household and granaries. Number 2. Komis. Bontoks and kanyanas curve ahead of the top of a pole in the manner that they used to display the heads of the defeated foes. It is the sobistic in styles with eyes and teeth, studded with the stones carved from a soft tern tree. Number 3. Pili carved from a tern tree and usually a small human figure, accompanied by spirits, dog, and placed as guard and property. Number 4. Hipag. These are in the form of humans, cocks, boar or ducks. It was small human form seated with the arms crossed and hands placed on opposite knees. Number 5. Bulol. This was the most popular anito in sculptural forms, usually found in pairs. The female is called bungan and the male punhaldayan. A ceremony is performed before selecting the right kind of tree for carving function and design in everyday objects. Every Cordilleran group has its own distinctive design and motifs, marking its personal adornments, custom carved on utensils and textiles. Cordilleras, widely known for their wood carving, cloth weaving, custom and personal adornment, color preferences, and even funeral arts. Pre-colonial art. Number 1. Pottery among Filipinos mass accents art which combine design and function. Early pottery shows wide variety of shapes and decorative techniques. Example are the palayok for cooking the banga, and tapayan for storing liquids, and bornay from Ilocos region. Number 2. Weaving originated in pre-colonial times. It one of the Filipinos' most precious living traditions. Cordillera groups in the north are well known for their arts of weaving blankets and articles of clothing produced by means of backstrap loom. Number 3. Wood carving. The Maranaos and Tausog are known for the Oki Aradatu with ornate curvilinear design and motifs. Principal ochre design are Sarimanok, the Naga, and the Paco Rabong. Number 4. Jewelry. These accents are begun as amulets and charmed to ward off evil spirit, all to give supernatural power to the wearer. Cordillera people have accents amulet design called Lingling Ong that signify fertility found in necklaces, rings, and earrings. Who are the Tausog? Tausog are the people of the kind and the original settlers of Hulu. They are clannish people whose closeness is determined not only by blood but special friendship. Tausog are the most numerous and the most aggressive settlers in the Hulu. They consider themselves the superior group and claim with a pride and warlike character. Tausog are famous for their intricately carved scabbards and handles of weaponry, sometimes with the incised mother of pearl. Tausog are like the Islamic societies in general avoids representation of human and animal forms. but there are exceptions. Number 1, manok-manok. These are bird design sent as decoration on house toward of balbalan. Ghosts who prey on settles, a little children and corpses. Number 2, naga is a serpent used as decoration in grave markers and is a symbol of power and bravery. Number 3, buaya. Crocodile horses are connected with animistic belief about the journey of the spirit of the dead person to the afterlife. Number 4, the tausog of the curving gluckel is not as highly developed as of the Maranaos or ochre because the tausog are engaged in wars for centuries against the Spaniard and the military. Art during the Spanish colonial period are served to propagate the Catholic religion by means of beautiful images. The practice of art was solely under the supervision of the priest, as in the construction of churches and carvings of images. Example of artworks: La Doctrina Cristiana in la Lengua Española E. Tagalog was the first book published which has Saint Dominic engraved on the cover. Retablos, altar pieces, are decorated with the wood carving of the different motifs. Prevails of holy images and reliefs and icons or paintings on wood, sport, colchos, and the floral motifs. Santos are formal statues for the churches, done under the supervision of the first. Paro palaspas taka, muchos animals, San Nicolas biscuit pastels, made from carabao milk, wrapped in the brightly colored wrapper are among the false art developed during this time. Examples of artworks: the construction of bahay na bato, portraits become part of house interior where illustrados commissions artists to do their portraits. There's styles called miniaturismo. First genre of paintings appeared along the portraiture, primeras letras of Simon Flores and Jose Lozano's letras E. Figuras are unique kinds of painting based on the letters of the patron's names. Tipos del País are watercolor paintings showing inhabitants of the archipelago, representing the entire range of social hierarchy, dressed in the typical costume of their occupation and social class. Lorenzo Guerrero fathered landscape and genre painting in the country with such work as El Fogao, The Water Carrier, and Bridge Before a Mirror. The Madrid Exposition of 1884 was significant. Even the Filipino expatriate artists and the Filipino propagandists in Spain. Example of artworks: Luna won gold medal for Spalarium, which can be interpreted as an allegory of Imperial Rome corresponding to Imperial Spain, with the gladiators symbolizing the colonial oppression of the indigenous populations. Virgins Christianas expostas al populacho, Questions Virgin, exposed to public by Felix Restoration, Hidalgo won the silver medal. Art during the American colonial period. American colonial strategy primarily in the domain of ideology and culture through the implementation of public educational system and educational program. Demand for textbook, illustration, and cartoons led to incorporating commercial art and advertising into the fine arts curriculum. Americans as the new art patron favored idyllic landscape and genres. examples of artists and artworks. Fabian de la Rosa painted portraits, genre scenes, and landscape with a coolly realistic eye. Fernando Amorsolo painted tropical genre and ever-smiling dalagang bukid, country maiden who became the image of Filipino in the tropic with youth reigned supreme and nature was infinitely bountiful. George Pineda, Ireneo Merida, Dominador Castaneda, and Pablo Amorsolo contributed to the development of genre paintings. Painters became illustrators for the publications such as La Independencia, Philippine Free Press, and Lipang Kalabaw. In sculpture, the dominant personality, Guillermo Tolentino, who received training in Rome, did a number of works such as Oblation and Venus bust and the life-size figure. He is best known for his masterpiece, the Bonifacio Monument on Caloocan, completed in 1930. The new trends, modernism. Victoria Idadis introduced modernism in his 1928 Philippine Colombian exhibit in Dadis. Stressed that the subject of art goes beyond beautiful and harmonious to include the ugly and the frightening. Napoleon Aboiva worked with a variety of materials and techniques such as wood, adobe, metals, brass, bronze, and aluminum. Carlos Botong, Francisco developed modern Filipino idiom based on the folk artistics. Galo Ocampo was known for his flagellants series which fused religious imagery of Lent and penitence to images of the war. Vicente Manasanla expanded subject matter of art from rural ideals to the post-war urban realities of jeepney recycled from the war. H.R. Ocampo started with a period of proletarian art showing the hungry poor and the stark social contrast in the urban post-war setting. Romeo Taboyna was known for his delicate watercolor of the rural scenes using watercolors. Abstraction, Jose Joya and Constancio Bernardo were the first proponents of abstraction, a branch of modernism. Fernando Jubel began with a folk subject with a carazzo and proceeded to the linear abstraction, then tonal works with geometric elements. Federico Aguilar Alquas began with the dark and intense convoluted forms and later worked in variation of synthetic cubism. Nina Sagoil, one of the early modernists, has done abstract landscape based on circular forms. Lau Bin works in minimalist bin with the sculptural elements. Tini Noida has done abstract mystical landscape combining hard ends and tonal qualities. Alan Casio has geometric works in painting, graphics, and sculpture. Paz Abad Santos used local materials such as burlap and coconut shell. Impi Pilapil, a printer making produced hard ends, abstraction and spare color landscape paintings and glass and sculptural works. Expressionism. Different styles and trends flourished in the 1960s, many of which reflected a society in ferment with the economic and political issues of the Marcos period. Highly expressionistic work conveyed the anxieties and tension of the period. Imagery had shifted from beautiful and harmonious to the powerful and aggressive. Ang Q. Kok subject drew from Philippines realities of poverty and oppression. Danny Dalinas uses this tortoise for strong impact shown in his child ally, series showing an allegory for the disparate humanity seeking hope in the game of chance. In printmaking, Rodolfo Parra's Paris woodcuts of 1960s have haunting expressionist and quality. Eduardo Castrillo, who works both in the abstract and in the figurative, has outstanding expressionist relief sculpture with socio-political meaning. Socialism. Socialistic works showed an interest in probing man's innermost self for the dark impulses which are the hidden motivation of behavior. Surrealism was used to render symbolic themes and messages political, social, or personal so praised in the public. Ramon Gaston, whose striking works combine elements from different cultures, contents and revise familiar situations. La Rosa's series on the Abu Rayyan Queen combines surrealism and pop elements while landscape subvert the real with the magical of the same time. Ecology is an underlying concern. Ophelia Gelbison, Tiki created surrealist atmosphere with the social and political meanings. Protest has a foreboding quality in the figure of the apocalypse. That is one option of the pinball game strong region centers of art and the lakeshore towns of Angono, Tanay, and Paitis, Cebu, and Bacolod in Visayas and Davao City in Mindanao. Impressionism, nature painting has often been in the Impressionist style. Macario Vitalis tended more naturally towards expressionist, pointillist style. Cebuano artist Romulo, Galicano Mendoza brothers, SYM, Codorifido, and Teofilo Sobang and Kimpron were brought up in the Impressionist tradition of nature painting. Ibarra de la Rosa's makiling landscape are highly point in the nature painting. Manuel Boy Rodriguez Jr. has been experimental in his approach using fabric dyeing as medium and introducing the theme of expressive nostalgia for Philippine landscape. Realism. There has been a trend in magic realism or macrovision in which the objects of everyday life are born with a fresh eye and dwelt upon in all their normal qualities and connotations of meaning. Steven Santos, Nestor Lane, Efrain Lopez, and Araceli dance an example of artists who capture everyday life in different perspectives and shown meticulous artwork of different subjects. Some artists draw their inspiration from folk art, the fresh, naive art of serving those dear figures undrawn with a directness and spontaneity, festive colors, and a space entirely covered with decorated forms. Mauro Malang depicted folk festas in style that rose and folk quality at Antonio Austria. Mario Pelapel, Norma Beleza, and Carlo Tayag are among the artists who adapted folk art as subject. Antique design and motifs have been incorporated by some artists in the contemporary art. Abnormally, Tamao shown this is the variations of the Sarimanok in painting and sculpture and Bert Manta in his ochre and mask series. Historical trend was also visible, the works of some artists who have looked to the past in the hope of illuminating the future. Bean Gabrera used imagery based on old 19th century photographs in which the perceived different aspect as the Filipino identity, urban and rural, Christian, Muslim, and animist. With the declaration of martial law, social realism took the lead of protest art, banding together as group dealing with the socio-political themselves, but working in different styles, the social realists have worked to expose the foreign, dominated, and exploitative structures and people aspiration for a just free and sovereign society. Pine Santos, Edgar Fernandez, Antipas de Lutavo, Orlando Castillo, Elmer Borlongan, Charlie Coe, and others are some of the artists who articulated their themes with vivid and highly specific images in drawings, paintings, and sculptures. Comics and illustrated humor story. These popular visual arts form consists of series of frames or a single frame with the figures of people or animals. Conversation is indicated in space balloon history of comics. The formal history of comics begins in 1929 when Antonio S. Velasquez and Romualdo Ramos came out with the first issues of mga kabalbalan ni Kinkoy Win run in Liwayway and other publications. After World War II, the first comic book appeared, Halakhak, a 10-issue series inspired by English comics books brought by American girls. In 1947, Don Ramon Roses and Velasquez organized the ACE publication which put out the Filipino comics, Tagalog Classics, Hiwaga Comics, Special Comics, and Kinkoy Comics. In the 1960s, Larry Alcala, Mauro Malang and Santos Corky, Trinidad, and Danilo Dalina were active in the field of comics. Alcalas, Calabog, and Bosio and Goryo were very popular, and Asyong Aksaya was best known during the martial law. Comics format daily strip consisting of the 3 or 4 frames, pages, strip appearing in weekly magazines. Example, Wakasan serial, novels or short, complicated story which also appear in pulpits. Pulpits, but rather than being divided into frames, is spread over the entire page. Example, Slice of Life, popularized by Larry Alcala and Lifestyle by Zabala Santos, kinds of comics according to content. Moros, also called funnies, are of two groups, human caricature and animal comics, and are both influenced by the American comics films. This involve exaggeration of physical features of illicit laughter. Example, Kinkoy by Tony Velasquez and Rita by Mars Travelo. Narrative has two drawing tradition, the romantic and realistic. Romantic is characterized by the dynamic curvilinear lines. Leading male characters are handsome mestizos, has a style that give life to myths and legends of lore and to fantasies of love and adventures. Realist tradition deals with the contemporary issues and problems of the society. Styles are detailed and based on the keen observation of reality. May be grouped into 6 according to content. Story drawn from Arwe and Corrido such as Coaching Don Cobarte and Haring Olopong. Fantastic adventures in tropical jungles or in distant lands such as Francisco Reyes Colapo. Supernatural or strange wonders as a Mars Travelus, Jezebel, love stories such as Peldo Olivado and Joey Celerio, Sinasamba Kita. Historical narrative or biography such as Coaching Bibora. Realistic story based on social problems as a Mars Travelo, Roberta. Instructional usually produced by institution and cause-oriented groups, referring to contemporary issues and events from which lessons are delivered, and basically aims to develop social awareness. Drawing styles may be realist or non-realist depending on intentions.